What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Friday, August 23rd, 2024, and we are back with another stream here on the Tony and Remy Loaded channel. It feels like it's been a while. It's only been a few days since the last time I did a stream here. Usually I do them like every other day if I have the time, of course, but it's been a couple of days, but we are back. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. If you haven't done so already, also be sure to join the Discord. It's pinned right there at the top. Just in case you don't get the notification on here, you should get it over there. And also, whenever I do decide to drop the link again to allow people to come up and speak, it's going to be dropped in that Discord. As a matter of fact, I think when I go live on Sunday, that's going to be the first time I actually do that, because I do have a live plan for y'all on Sunday, and I know y'all are definitely going to want to have something to say about that particular topic. But I hope everybody is doing great today. I hope everybody had a great week, had a great Friday, and all of that good stuff, and are ready for the weekend. Shout out to all of the members here. Shout out to everybody on Patreon. And if you are on Patreon, new video coming this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to look out for that. Of course, also make sure to follow my Rumble as well, because that is where the True Crime Sunday streams will be going to from now on. My goal is 100 followers over there. The last time I checked, I was at 64, and I want to reach 100 by the 1st, because that's when the next True Crime Sunday stream will be occurring, and I know that that can be pulled off easily. Before we go ahead and get to everything, let me go ahead and see who is here so far in the chat. We have Mr. Williams, Firebat, Tory Tate, Reparation Nation, Bills Fan 1970, Wallow J, Dabby, Jay the Informant, Brother Man to You, Denise Scale, Shramp, Steen, Raging Woody, Jane Smith, Derry B, DSM Sinister, Rokomuro, Craig J, J Cage, Don P, Stay Positive, Miss Renee, Gabrielle, Tawana. Shout out to Wallow J for being a member for 5 months on the channel. I greatly appreciate it. And yes, it is Friday. I'm glad you said that. Yes, Jane, I am on Rumble. I actually had the Rumble account for a while. I actually created it when Harvey had to go over there because of course, what happened to him over here. And that's when I created it, but I just didn't talk about it. But now I'm going to start using it for the True Crime Sundays, which, again, like I said, happen every other Sunday. And so that means the next one will be on the 1st. We also have D-Dub 3000 in here as well. All right. Before we get into everything, I already saw some people said earlier in the chat before I got started that they've heard about this, but I just want to ask for the new people that just came in. Put a 1 in the chat if you are familiar with the story that I'm going to be talking about today. Put a 2 in the chat if this is going to be your first time hearing about it. And shout out to Jane Smith for being a member for 28 months. Sometimes I forget that I had these memberships going on for that long, but that's crazy. Shout out to you. And she says, I will follow you on Rumble. I greatly appreciate it.
You ain't got to be a dope boy to have money.
Okay, Jay the Informant said he hasn't. Tedra says 1. JK said 1. D-Dub said 1. DSM Sinister said 2. Craig 1. Jane 1. What's going on, DeMarcus? Firebat 2. Mr. Williams 1. Derry B 2. 2 1s. Okay, so I'm seeing a bit of a mixed bag. Oh, shout out to DeMarcus for the 2. I appreciate it.
When you're successful, you got new friends like Benjamin, Ulysses, and my favorite, Woodrow.
Okay, cool. Shout out to DeMarcus. Okay, so I'm seeing a mixture here of 1s and 2s. Okay, so before I actually pull up any article, this actually shouldn't be that long of a stream because it's only 2 articles associated with this story. It's the one that that's initially the reason why I'm talking about this, and there's an update that came about 2 or 3 days ago. So basically what happened is you have this couple who went to Disney World in Florida. This man and his wife, they went to Disney World in Florida, and they went to a restaurant inside of the Disney park. And they went to the spot, and I'm guessing they probably been there before, but they ordered some food. Now the wife told the people that was there that it's a dish that she would get, but to make sure not to put this particular ingredient in the dish because she has a food allergy. And y'all know food allergies are some of the worst allergies anyone can get. It's worse than seasonal allergies like pollen and stuff like that. That like food allergies can really mess you up in a bad way. And if you don't get an emergency, if you don't get emergency help soon, it can take you out, which actually happened with this woman. So she got the plate, she took a bite of the food, and all of a sudden she had a bad allergic reaction to the food because they ended up putting what they told them not to put in the dish. And she unfortunately ended up dying. So this happened last year, by the way. So the husband was trying to sue Disney for $50,000 for a wrongful death. Well, Disney came back out and said, well, you have a free, you got a, we see right here that you had a Disney Plus streaming account, and based on our terms and service, you can't sue us for what happened to your wife. We're sorry it happened, but you can't legally sue us. So that's really that's the broad, vague summary of the story. And people got so pissed, and rightfully so, at Disney for even putting something like that in their terms of service. Like, what does one have to do with the other? And just like Jay the Informant said, they were only seeking $50,000. Do you know how much Disney is worth? They're worth hundreds of billions of dollars, and 50K wouldn't even hurt them. Exactly. We just said the same thing. What does one have to do with the other? It doesn't. So that's just the overview of it. But I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and we're gonna get the full details of this whole thing. Because when I first heard about this, I literally said, "What the fuck?" That's literally what came out of my mouth when I read just the headline. So here it is right here. This was posted up by the BBC on August 15, 2024, which was last week. It says Disney Plus terms prevent allergy death lawsuit, Disney says. Disney World is arguing a man cannot sue it over the death of his wife because of terms he signed up to in a free trial of Disney Plus. So this was a free trial. This wasn't even a paid subscription. It was one of the things where let me try it out for maybe like whatever the allotted days are in the trial. And if I like it, I'll keep it. If not, I'll get rid of it. But how was someone going to know that? No one would expect any company to throw that into their terms of service. No one. I know I wouldn't. Because like I said, and like Derry B just said, what does one have to do with the other? Jeffrey Piccolo filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Disney and the owners of a restaurant after his wife died in 2023 from a severe allergic reaction after eating at the theme park. However, Disney argued its terms of use, which Mr. Piccolo agreed to when creating his Disney account in 2019, means they have to settle out of court. We are deeply saddened by the family's loss and understand their grief, Disney said in a statement. Just them saying that alone after putting me through this would have me literally grinding my gears. Given that this restaurant is neither owned nor operated by Disney, we are merely defending ourselves against the plaintiff's attorney attempt to include us in their lawsuit against the restaurant. The couple had dined at Raglan Road, an Ireland-themed pub located at Disney Springs, a part of the vast Walt Disney World complex in Orlando, Florida. So I'm trying to understand this statement right here, where they're saying that the restaurant is neither owned nor operated by Disney, but the restaurant that the couple ate at is literally located in the Disney World complex. They made it seem like this couple ate at a restaurant near the park, but it was not in the park, meaning Disney doesn't own it. It's just in a surrounding area. But they were in the park, though. And shout out to Tedra for the 5. They said, thank you for the stream. I posted the article in Discord because I'm not because I'm sure most of us don't read the fine print when we sign up for subscriptions. Right. But I appreciate the contribution.
All I gotta say, tell them to bring me my money.
But anyway, representatives for Raglan Road and Mr. Piccolo have been contacted for comment. Mr. Piccolo alleges that the restaurant did not take enough care over his wife's severe allergies to dairy and nuts, despite being repeatedly told about them. So now we know what his wife was allergic to, which is dairy and nuts. And I find that dairy and nuts typically are a lot of people's food allergy. Let me know in the chat. Do any of y'all have a food allergy? And if you do, what are you allergic to? I find a lot of people are allergic to dairy, like if they're lactose, or people who can't have a peanut allergy. I know a lot of people who have shellfish who can't eat any kind of seafood. I know a lot of people with that one. But you know what? As long as I've been alive, I don't know if there's any food allergy that I have. And that might be kind of scary because it's like you can go out and eat something and then all of a sudden your tongue swells up, your mouth gets swollen, your throat closes. I can imagine how scary that has to be in that moment. Okay, Miss Renee says she doesn't. D-Dub said that they don't. Italio said, oh, you have a caffeine allergy, so no coffee or a lot of soda products that have caffeine in it. Eddie says, I'm not allergic to anything that I know of, but I know my mom is allergic to almonds. Okay. Craig J says, I'm lactose intolerant. Brother Man says, no food allergy, but have religious restrictions, so that is a factor. No food allergy. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of people in here say that they don't have any food allergies that they know of. And I'm in the same boat. Key Prince says allergic to tree nuts. Jane says dairy. Patrick says durian fruit. I tried it twice. Both times my ears and throat was itchy. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yes, J. Cage. The mouse is very vicious. Deep pockets and a vicious mouse. They almost getting they are teetering on the rat side of things. Pinky JYB says no food allergies, but my mother is allergic to cauliflower. Denise says she's lactose intolerant. B1 Vanessa Jones says I'm allergic to nut tree and shellfish. Okay, Rokamura says nuts and dairy. So I'm also noting a common theme. People are either allergic, they're lactose intolerant, they can't eat dairy, which falls into the lactose category. Nuts, I'm seeing people with shellfish. Those three right there typically are like high up on the food allergy list. And then, of course, you have to also make sure the type of ingredients go into some of these things. Like you can eat something or consume something that you're not allergic to, but if they make it in some kind of an oil, like maybe you can eat something, but if you're allergic to peanuts and they make it in peanut oil, that will get you too. Damien said I'm allergic to Kamala Harris. Y'all are crazy. But let me continue. Dr. Kanakporn, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing this woman's name, Tang Swan, died in a hospital later that day on October the 5th, 2023. According to the legal filing, her death was confirmed by a medical examiner as a result of anaphylaxis, well, basically choking, and asphyxia due to elevated levels of dairy and nuts in her system. So basically, her throat closed up on her. I can't even imagine what that feeling would be. Like, imagine you eat something and all of a sudden your neck just literally goes from being expanded to coming together, being very narrow, closing up your breathing passage. The amount of panic this woman was probably going through up until she couldn't breathe anymore. Mr. Piccolo is suing Disney for a sum in excess of $50,000 plus legal costs. Disney wants the case in the courts to be halted and for the dispute to be resolved out of court in a process called arbitration. The entertainment company argues it cannot be taken to court because in its terms of use, it says users agree to settle any disputes with the company via arbitration. Let's look up that word arbitration. Let's look this word up. Arbitration is a form or process for resolving disputes between parties to a contract without going to court. The parties involved select a neutral third party called an arbitrator to make a final and binding decision. Arbitration is often faster, less expensive, and less complex than litigation. So basically what they're saying is, let's not go and take this to court, which apparently the husband wanted to do, and let's just settle. And the husband was like, no, we're going to get this wrongful death suit, the money, and we're going to court. Cosma, thanks for correcting me. See, you work in the medical field, so you would know how to pronounce that word. That's why I was looking at it like, what is this? But I appreciate you correcting me on the pronunciation of that word, because I'm familiar with anesthesia. I'm familiar with that, but when they put it like that, I'm sitting there like, what? I'm hitting there literally trying to sound it out. Y'all saw how my face looked on the other side of the screen trying to sound that word out. So this is what they were trying to do initially with this. Tawana says arbitration lowers the amount of judgments. So yeah, they're trying to get, basically Disney is trying to get themselves out of the way as much as they possibly can. But it's like somebody died and literally in your park. Let me continue. It says, Mr. Piccolo agreed to these terms of use when he signed up to a 1-month free trial of its streaming service, Disney Plus, in 2019. Like I said, a lot of people don't read those terms of service because they're so lengthy and they're in small print that a lot of people aren't going to take the time to actually read that. I wish they had a screenshot of those terms of service so the people can actually see where that is, because Disney Plus has a lot of subscribers. And I can almost guarantee you that many people who have Disney Plus didn't even know that was in the terms of service. Disney adds that Mr. Piccolo accepted these terms again when using his Disney account to buy tickets for the theme park in 2023. Mr. Piccolo's lawyers call Disney arguments preposterous and inane. They say Disney's case is based on the incredible argument that any person who signs up for a Disney Plus account, even free trials that are not extended beyond the trial period, will have forever waived the right to a jury trial. The argument that this can be extended to wrongful death or personal injury claims border on the surreal, according to the legal filing. They also argue that Mr. Piccolo agreed to the Disney terms of use for himself, whereas he is now acting on behalf of his deceased wife, who never agreed to the terms. Disney is pushing the envelope of contract law, says Ernest Adua, partner at Stokoe Partnership Solicitors, who are not involved in the proceedings. The courts will have to consider on balance if the arbitration clause in a contract for a streaming service can really be applied to as serious an allegation of wrongful death through negligence at a theme park. He adds Disney argument that accepting their terms and conditions for one product covers all interactions with that company is novel and potentially far-reaching. Jabril Trambu, barrister at Church Court Chambers, says the terms in the Disney Plus trial are a weak argument for Disney to rely on. Cosma said, he said, wait, catch up, how did she die? Okay, well, to try to give you a brief summary, basically this couple last year, they went to Disney World, they went to a restaurant in the Disney World theme park. She had an allergic reaction to some food she ate because she was allergic to dairies and nuts, and they told them, that the people there, that she had allergies to dairies and nuts, but they brought it to her anyway. And she didn't know it was in there, and she ate it, and then all of a sudden she had a bad allergic reaction, and that's what she died from later on that day. That may permit Disney to stay the case for arbitration, he says, although there are many other threads that may prevent them going to arbitration given the delicate circumstances in this case. Why arbitration? Mr. Piccolo wants the case to go in front of a jury in a court of law. Disney's motion to take the case out of court and decide by arbitration will be heard in front of a Florida judge in October. Arbitration means the dispute is overseen by a neutral third party who is not a judge. It is usually a quicker and cheaper process than a court case. Disney understandably may want to benefit from the privacy and confidentiality that arbitration brings, rather than having a wrongful death suit heard in public with the associated publicity, says Jamie Cartwright, partner at law with firm Charles Russell Speechlys. That's what I was wondering too, Cosmic. Did no one have an EpiPen there? Because that would have cleared that right on up. Let me see what y'all talking about in the chat. Michael says, I wouldn't go to Disney anyway because I think the general public is gross. Hey, Michael, is that you? Is that your way of saying you're a germaphobe? Andre says, haven't been to Disney World since the first time I went to Florida, which was in 2008, and haven't gone back since. Disney is anti-black as hell. Scoop says, Disney is diabolical. Denise says, the last time I was at Disney World was in 1977. Wow. Denise, I think it's safe to say Disney has changed a whole lot since the last time you've been there. Tawana says that restaurant claimed to accommodate people with food allergies. And that right there makes them look even worse. Brother Man says arbitration also helps avoid press and backlash. Tedra says it says a lot that Disney doesn't want to pay that $50,000 that he is suing for. Denzima said, I'm surprised the food prices didn't go. Yeah, Disney is expensive because sometimes I will watch travel like videos, and when I come across Disney, their prices are highway robbery. Andre says that Universal is better anyway. Tedra says the article did say an EpiPen was used. I don't think this article mentioned it, but if there was an EpiPen used, then like I said, this food allergy that she had was very strong that even the EpiPen couldn't stop it. The closest I've been to Disney World, I'll put it like this. 24 years ago, back in 2000, it's crazy how long ago that is now. Went to Orlando with my family. We was there for a week. We went to Universal, Islands of Adventure, some other things. Disney was not on the list. But something happened and we got turned around and we ended up in the Disney parking lot. And we had to turn right back around and leave because, of course, we didn't have tickets for it to go into the park. So that was the closest I ever got to Disney, was me and my family getting turned around, or taking the wrong exit, I should say. But like I said, there has been an update that has come from this story. Now, remember, this article that you see on your screen was posted on August 15th. This update came on August the 20th, which was 5 days later. So here's the update right here. Disney drops bid to have allergy death lawsuit tossed because plaintiffs signed up for Disney Plus. So this is the update to the story at hand. Let's see what they're talking about over here. Disney is no longer asking a Florida court to dismiss a wrongful death lawsuit on the grounds that the victim family has signed up for its streaming service Disney Plus. Oh, I could just about guess why that happened. Customers probably heard about this story and said, oh, first off, you have this wild terms of service in your small print that says we can't go to court if something like this happens. That's one red flag. And then two, the actual how you handled this with this man after his wife died in your park. That's red flag number two. So when people saw that, they probably saw a lot of Disney Plus subscriptions get canceled that day. So when they saw them people start to leave, they said, hold up, you know what? We was wrong. Let's, back this car up in reverse and try this again. The company filed the notice in Orange County Court on Tuesday to withdraw the motion, which had drawn swift backlash when it became public. Josh D'Amaro, chairperson of Disney's theme park division, said in a statement emailed earlier to the Associated Press that the entertainment giant will waive its arbitration rights and will allow the suit. Bought by the husband of a New York doctor who suffered a fatal allergic reaction after eating at a restaurant in Disney Springs, to proceed in court. Now, let me just tell you something right now. If this man, well, not if, because it's now going to court, it's now going to be heard in front of a jury. If this man wins this case, do you know how huge that will be for the general public? Keep in mind, y'all, this happened in October of last year. This did not just happen like within the last month. So he was most likely he had to been going through it for almost the last whole year. If he goes to this trial and he wins, which I don't see how he can't win, that'll be huge. Shout out to Scoop for the 2. Scoop says, Disney, where them missing kids? I appreciate that.
Dollar happy dad.
Where them dollars at? Where them dollars at? Where them dollars at?
At Disney, we strive to put humanity above all other considerations, he said in the Monday night statement. With such unique circumstances as the one in this case, we believe this situation warrants a sensitive approach to expedite a resolution for the family who have experienced such a painful loss. And even if this thing does go the way that it should, it doesn't excuse what Disney did leading up to this point. But like I said, I truly believe it's because the people started to cancel their subscriptions to Disney Plus that made them change their tune. Disney had previously argued that Jeffrey Piccolo could not sue the company because he agreed to settle any lawsuits against the company out of court when he signed up for a 1-month trial subscription to Disney Plus back in 2019. Brian Denny, Piccolo's Florida-based lawyer, said Tuesday that his client will continue to pursue justice on behalf of his beloved wife and hopes their ordeal has helped raise awareness of the challenges people with food allergies face. He also noted that others seeking to take Disney to court risk facing a similar legal challenge, as the arbitration provision remains in many of the company's terms and conditions. That I'm not surprised by. That part right here, I'm not surprised by. They're basically saying, look, this one right here was like catching lightning in a bottle. But if any of you other ones think that you're going to try this, if it ever arises, just know we will take you through the ringer as well. And you may not be so lucky. And shout out to Andre Toppin for the 7. He said, exactly. I appreciate you.
Count it up, count it up, count it up, count it, count it up, count it up, count it up, count it.
The right to a jury trial as set forth in the 7th Amendment is a bedrock of our judicial system and should be protected and preserved. Denny wrote in an email, attempts by corporations like Disney to avoid jury trial should be looked at with skepticism. In a response filed earlier this month, Denny had argued that it was absurd to believe that more than 150 million subscribers to Disney Plus have waived all rights to sue the company and its affiliates in perpetuity because of language buried in the fine print. That's what I've been saying. They have 150 million subscribers. Not everyone's going to read that. Because if that was the case, let's say all people knew about that, Disney Plus would not have any subscribers. Like I said, I've never known a streaming platform to insert that into their terms of use. That's my first time ever hearing something like that before. The company, in its bid to have the lawsuit dismissed, argued Piccolo had not agreed to just to the arbitration terms in his Disney Plus trial, but also again when he signed up for an account on Disney's website and app in order to purchase the couple's tickets for their ill-fated theme park visit. Both sides have been slated to make their case before a judge in Orlando on October 2nd. That hearing was canceled Tuesday. Arbitration allows people to settle disputes without going to court and generally involves a neutral arbitrator who reviews arguments and evidence before making a binding decision or award. Disney, in a follow-up statement to the Associated Press last week, said it was merely defending itself against Piccolo's attempt to include the company in his lawsuit against Raglan Road, the Irish pub of Disney Springs where the family died. So this part right here. They were not trying to be attached to the restaurant, but the restaurant is attached to the park. Spokespersons for the restaurant didn't immediately respond to an email seeking comment Tuesday. Disney Springs is owned by Disney, which leases some of the spaces in the outdoor dining, shopping, and entertainment complex to other companies. Piccolo's lawsuit claims the family had decided to eat at Raglan Road in October because it was billed on Disney's website as having an allergen-free food. Imagine that, being on the website and your wife dies from a food allergy. That is not a good look. Piccolo's wife, I'm gonna say Dr. T because I'm gonna say Dr. KT because I can't pronounce her name. A physician with the NYU's Langon's office in Carl Place, New York, had a severe allergy to nuts and dairy products, and the waiter had assured them her food was prepared without allergens. But less than an hour after finishing their dinner, Dr. T had difficulty breathing, collapsed, and died at a hospital despite self-administering with an EpiPen. So I think that was Tedra that wrote that in the chat, that was an EpiPen use. So, like I said, food allergies are some of the worst life-threatening allergies you can have. Like I said, it's not like seasonal allergies, that's something in the air like pollen, where you'll have a runny nose, a stuffy nose, you'll be congested and all of that. Food allergies hit different. NBA Queen, you have it backwards. Disney owns Hulu, not the other way around. So if an EpiPen could not fix this life-threatening issue that eventually did take her life, that means, again, she consumed. So they said that she died, like she started to feel the effects about half an hour after she was done eating. Imagine you're eating your food and everything is fine, and then all of a sudden you just start feeling like, oh God, what's going on here? Like, what's really happening? Which means that which she was allergic to was buried deep into whatever she was eating, to the point where she couldn't even taste it. That's what I'm talking about, where you can have a food allergy to something that's baked in or cooked into something, and you don't even taste it, but your body knows that it's there once it gets into your system. What's going on live from NYC? You said you're allergic to broccoli. I don't know many people that's allergic to broccoli, and I think you might be the first one. PD that remains, he says, I'm allergic to ice cream. Okay. Is it the dairy in the ice cream? Is that the reason why? Or are you not allergic to dairy? You're just allergic to ice cream? It says the medical examiner determined she died as a result of anaphylaxis. I got it right this time, Cosmo. I don't know if you're still in the chat. Due to elevated levels of dairy and nut in her system. So like I said, whatever she ate, I wish they would have said what she ate. That way we could have looked up the ingredients of that dish. But whatever she ate was baked into it so well that she could not taste it. And it was like one of those sneak attacks. It's almost like when someone drinks like some kind of a liquor or something like that, but it's overpowered by other things that you don't even taste it, and then it sneaks up on you. It's like, whoa, where did that come from? Oh, Live said, I'm just kidding. I hate broccoli. Okay. Hey, like I said, hey, you never know. So it might be someone out there that is allergic to broccoli. PD that remains says, I don't know, it just swells my gums. Okay, then yeah, then that is definitely, you definitely have an allergy to that. It might be the dairy. I'm not sure. I don't know if you eat any other dairy products and nothing happens, but if you do, it's probably the dairy in the ice cream. Or maybe it just might be something else in there that's not the dairy. I'm not sure. B1 says, if you are allergic to stuff, always carry an EpiPen. Oh, most definitely. But like I said, Vanessa, I'm not sure if you caught it, but she had her EpiPen. She had it with her. It was used, but it wasn't enough though. It was too extreme. Like they said, she died from elevated levels of dairy and nut in her system. It's not like she had a little bit. She had a lot. They said elevated. So say that a danger zone for her is a 50. Elevated means she was probably almost at 100. Because we don't, like I said, not only do we not know what she ate, but we don't know the size portion of what she ate. That also plays a part too. And from the sound of it, it doesn't look like it was a small portion. It sounded like it might have been a medium-sized portion, or maybe it was something that her and her husband were sharing. So which, if it was definitely medium to large size portions. Petey says milk doesn't do that to me. Okay, so then it's not dairy then. It's something else in the ice cream. Cosmo, I'm not even going to read that comment. You are supposed to be the medical profession and you have your mind in the gutter. What is wrong with you? So yeah, like I said, and like Vanessa even said, always if you have a food allergy, you make sure you carry your EpiPen with you at all times. Because you just never know. You just never know what might end up happening. But that is unfortunate one that happened to her, because that could have happened to anybody. It is also unfortunate that this husband had to go through all of that just to have this being presented in front of a jury. All because of some small print in the terms of use for a Disney Plus 1 month free trial. Live from what said Disney don't. Listen, of course they don't. It's the fact that though they was like, the guy was literally going after them for $50,000 in a jury trial, but they wasn't even trying to do that. Brother man says that they go after the employee or cook or whoever. That's a good question, because nowhere in any article did I see that they were going after the employee or the restaurant itself. They figured, you know what, we're going to go after the big person, which is Disney itself. But I would have gone after whoever the cook was. And then when you advertise yourself with the allergen thing, and then this happens, that really like contradicts your allergen statement. Miss Renee said lawsuit for millions, and that's what they were scared of. I think that's another reason why they didn't want to do that trial, because while the husband is going after them for $50K, if this gets in front of a jury, they might be able to convince them to give him more money. Well, because $50K is nothing to Disney. I mean, like I said, Disney's net worth is hundreds of billions of dollars. They're one of the biggest conglomerates in the world. And believe it or not, for those of y'all who are unaware, while Disney owns a lot of stuff under its umbrella, their parks is where they make the bulk of their money. Their theme parks here and abroad is where they make the bulk of their money. Not from their shows, not their streaming platform, not the movies, not any of the networks that they own. Most of the money that Disney makes is from its parks. If you think about it, Disney, when it in its foundation, the bulk of their money was from their parks, because at one point that's all they did have. But then, of course, as time went on, they started to grow and acquire more. And the reason why I say that Disney makes most of its money from its parks is because of real estate. Let me say that again. The reason why Disney makes most of its money from their parks is because of real estate. Do you know how many acres of land Disney World sits on? Or how many acres of land Disneyland sits on? Or any of their other parks around the world? That is prime real estate. Just like McDonald's. A lot of people think McDonald's makes all its money from its food. No, McDonald's makes its money from the real estate. If you was to snatch Disney World and Disneyland and all the other parks around the world, just snatch them right off and they didn't have them anymore, Disney would get a huge hit to their net worth. Even with all the other stuff that they own. Live says, didn't a alligator eat a child? I remember that story. I can't remember all the details, and it's crazy because I talked about it on my channel, but I can't remember all the details. But yeah, that was a wild one right there. You have to go and look that up to see the details. But I do know it involved an alligator and a child. Let me actually go look up right now, since we're on the topic, and look up Disney's net worth. Because I'm curious. Okay, so here it is right here. As of August 21st, 2024, which was 2 days ago, Walt Disney's net worth or market capitalization was an estimated $164.53 billion. And shout out to FBA Queen for the 10. I appreciate it.
I'm rich! I'm rich! I'm rich!
Someone say rich?
I appreciate it. $164.53 billion is the net worth currently of Disney. Not Disney World, but Disney. Now, if you look under here, it has assets. As of June 2024, Disney's total assets, which is different from net worth, were $197.77 billion, which includes cash, inventories, properties, and equipment. So if you take their net worth and their assets and combine that together, they're already over $300 billion. Net assets as of September 30th, 2023 is at $113.1 billion, which is the sum of its assets minus its liabilities. Annual gross profit ending in March of this year was $31.245 billion, which was an 8.72 increase from last year. And the annual net income for the 12 months ending in June of this year was $13.117 billion, which was a 25.41 increase from the previous year, which was last year. And if I was to go on here and start asking, what does Disney own? We would be here for like another 30 minutes. Nambi says their assets are part of his net worth. I stand corrected. I'm curious, how much does Disney Parks bring in every year? So here is the Disney. So they have it with the resorts, the Magic Kingdom. Okay, because I'm curious, since this is what we're talking about here. 2022, Walt Disney World Resort generated $40.3 billion in 2022. Now, mind you, this is a year after everything officially opened back up after, well, you know. Last year, Magic Kingdom, the most visited amusement park in the world, had 17.7 million visitors. As of March 31st of this year, we already read that part. And it says in 2023, the Walt Disney Company generated a total of revenue of nearly $32.6 billion US dollars with its parks and experiences, and an increase around 16% from the year before. Mr. Ishmael says Disney owns 25,000 acres in Florida alone. Tildall says, and that's not just the parks, it's the resorts, and not to mention the cruises. I'm glad you said that. I forgot. Disney has all those cruise lines. And I'm not sure if y'all are familiar, but they just had their D23, which is their every other year convention, where they unveil different movies and shows and different things for their parks. Disney's going to be sitting high and mighty for the next couple of decades. That's why I said with this suit that this man took out against them, he was very fortunate to go this far, because not everybody's able. Live from NYC said, if Steve Jobs was still around, Apple would probably purchase Disney. You want to know what's so crazy? I think Apple's net worth is actually way surpassed Disney. So you're probably right in that assessment. Disney practically has its own zip code. But anyway, y'all, that is going to bring this stream to a close. I'm glad that we was able to come on here and talk about this story. It just tells people that, again, make sure y'all read y'all terms of service when it comes to this stuff, but still at the same time, that was messed up. Like, I couldn't believe they slipped that one in there. And I'm glad the husband is, he fought, for his wife, and they're going forward with a trial in front of a jury. I'll probably revisit it when it comes back up to see what kind of updates have come from it, to see what the outcome of it is. Because when you're going up against Disney, you're fighting a big giant. I mean, look at what happened with Scarlett Johansson when she had to sue Disney and Marvel because of what happened with that Black Widow movie that came out in 2021. She said, the pandemic may have messed us up, but we still gonna get this theatrical release. I don't care how you go about it doing it. And she ended up winning. But shout out to all the people that came through. Shout out to all of the donations and the members: Wallow J, Jane Smith, DeMarcus, Tedra Scoop, Andre, and FBA Queen. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you that came through for the stream this evening. To those who are subscribed to the Patreon, y'all will be getting a new video this evening, so make sure to check out that. We got the premiere video coming tomorrow. There's no live tomorrow. We will be going live again on Sunday, and on Sunday I will officially, for the first time, be doing the dropping the StreamYard link in the Discord. So you have to be in the Discord in order to come up on Sunday when I do that particular stream. That's why I pinned the Discord link at the top so y'all can join, so y'all can be ready for that. And with that being said, everybody, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe and be one.